What's up, everybody? It's your boy Dumblizo. Welcome back to another episode of Dumblizo Does. Before we get started here, I want to give everybody a special thanks. All my new subscribers and all my friends and family for watching all my new videos and subscribing to my channel. Thank you very much. It makes a world of difference. And since we did so well on that last video, let's make sure that if you're watching now to like and subscribe. So we're getting started here with the model truck again. We're here from episode number 6. I showed you guys at the end of the last episode. But here's the paint job I threw down on it. This is the bed. That's the hand painted pinstripe. It's a little shaky. I probably could have done a little better, but that was the first time I ever tried something like that. I have to admit I'm a little bit proud of myself for it. Now we'll show you the rest of it that you guys didn't get to see. There's the cab. The same pinstriping. So it's similar to it's a little shaky. But it's all been done by hand, like it should be. Couple things we learned here. Mounting this cab onto the truck was extremely hard, getting it on this chassis. So typical of an old school Chevy, this frame is twisted. So when we tried to put the cab on there, it would not stick on all 4 sides. And we were having issues with the firewall here where the radiator goes. That's why the paint's all messed up. I had to scrape it all away and use super glue to get it to stay. But that was kind of cool. It was the same as restoring an old school Chevy, you know what I mean? I had to deal with the twisted frame and figure out how I was going to get that on there. I've got to sand down a couple parts of these shocks because the mounts that they were on melted off when I put glue on them. They were so tiny, just little nubs on there. So now they're just raised a little bit, and I'm going to have to sand them down to get the bed on there properly. That's why the bed's not on yet. Also, very typical, same issue I had as a child. Right there, you see it? Got super glue on the window. So there's that. I'm not too disappointed that it's a little messy. I actually kind of like it. And I'm going to make it an off-road vehicle anyway, so we're going to make it a little dirty and a little messy. So that's all good. We don't got to worry about it. It'll have a little bit more character anyways. So we got lots of touch-up. Like I said, like this here. There's lots of little pieces where they connect and such, or have been sitting. They just have little bits of the model showing through now, so we're going to go ahead and do some touch-up paint work to begin with. So another thing I learned while doing this model is that when I showed my dad it, he actually told me that my great uncle Neil, I believe he said, used to build models back in the 70s, and he was one of the guys who was building them with like actual fabric interiors and wires going to the motors and such. He was like one of the first dudes doing that stuff, so it's kind of cool to know that it's in my past as well. And actually we've bought a second model here, Mountain Goat, a Jeep Commando, which we'll be building that too later. And I think we might even try and put a little more time into it and try and make it a little more realistic, like what my uncle would have done. Give it as a homage to him or something, you know, just to kind of reflect back to my past. So that was a cool thing to learn, and I was kind of happy about that. Let's see. What? What do you mean, what am I doing? I'm working on the truck. Me and the boys work on the truck every Saturday. What? What do you mean the boys haven't been over in like a year to work on the truck? What do you mean we haven't gotten anything done? I just got done polishing these lights. What? I polished these lights 3 times this week. What are you talking about? No, I haven't. We got to get this truck done by spring. That's why I'm out here working on it. What do you mean that's what I said last spring? The boys haven't even been over in like a year because of the virus. What are you talking about? And I polished this light like 3 times already, so watch. It's going to be ready for the weekend. Or I mean the spring. We'll be ready for the spring. You'll see. Alright, so I decided to show you guys a quick shot of me doing the pinstriping on it. This wasn't easy, but it was a lot of fun. I felt like I learned a lot doing it. The silver's really hard to use. It was a bad choice for the pinstripe, even though it was the appropriate choice. It goes on super thin, and it was really hard to work with, but we finally got it all on there, and we made it look real good. So to mount the cab, I had to sand down these shocks that were sticking over the top a little bit, like I was saying earlier. So I go ahead and sand these down just to get them pre-prepped so we were ahead of the game. Did a couple quick touch-ups on some of the spot painting where it chipped or where I'd set it down and paint rubbed off, or maybe I picked it up with my finger. So we just went around and did a couple of different spot painting spots just to make sure it all looked nice and tight. Alright, now for the setting of the bed onto the frame. This wasn't easy, just like the cab wasn't easy. The frame is definitely twisted on this model, and nothing sits level. The cab and the bed were so off from each other, it was really hard to get them lined up. I had to end up adding a couple extra support blocks in between the frame and the bottom of the bed just to get it to mount because it wouldn't glue on. There was like 0 contact points for the bed and the frame, so we had to ad-lib it. I also had some turn signals inside the chrome bumper that needed to be painted yellow, so I took a quick second to go ahead and fill those in so they would dry before I mounted them. So once the bed was mounted, it was finally ready to start putting other chrome bits on. I started with the tail lights, which turned out to be a bad idea because I actually popped them out with the tailgate when I was trying to get it in. Alright, so we started with the grill. We got our chrome grill all mounted in there nice and tight before we started with the bull bar and everything else. So I got the front bull bar all assembled with the winch and everything, got it all painted up and put together. I also put together the stock one that was for the stock version. I'm actually going to add these two together to make my own custom part, like I have with the shocks and a couple other pieces. I'll show you that now. So I'm just going to go ahead and flip it upside down and stick it inside the bottom half of the bull bar here to give it a second set of lights that look down at the ground for when you're off-roading. So yeah, there's what it's going to look like when it goes on. So I messed up on the tailgate, um, trying to paint it, and I let it peel a little bit. I think I took tape off too soon. I don't know if you guys can see it, but there's this weird swirl mark on the tailgate. I can't figure it out. I probably should have sanded it first, but I didn't have good sandpaper for that. So we peeled all the paint and we're taped it back off. We're going to try and spray paint it again. Let it dry a little bit longer and see if we can keep it from peeling. So I decided to take on the very tedious project of painting all the little letters on the tire. This was a handful. I found the best way to do this was to dip your brush in the paint and roll it around on your napkin or something till it was semi-dry and well dispersed through the brush, and then use just the side of the brush to barely touch all the letters. I think they look pretty good though. Took a lot of time. I also put little red dots on the lug nuts, like there was little red lug nuts in there, just to make them that much more custom. Also, I painted these little bits to look like it has a little red brake caliper on there. Alright, so it's finally finished. We'll just go ahead and give you guys a couple different shots of it here as it's all done. Like I said, I'm pretty happy with this. A lot of details are a little messed up and it's a little scratchy, but I feel like I did a pretty good job and I'm happy with it. Also, I haven't built a model since I was about 9 years old, so I think I did pretty good for my first one in a long time. Alright, so the truck is finally done and is looking real good. I had a lot of fun with this project and I hope to get to do some more. So we bought a second model and we will be doing that. Try a couple other projects before we get back to this, to doing a model. I found a few other things I want to do, like make an aluminum can airplane like my grandpa's used to do. Um, there's a lot of things to do. I need to build a lid for my terrarium here. I built kind of a half-assed one out of cardboard and duct tape, as you can see there. But I think I'm going to go and find myself a nice little stump or something, and I'm going to carve me a wood one and put some plexiglass in there and everything for it. So that might be our next project. Also, I want to build a suit of armor out of Mountain Dew boxes, like what you see the Budweiser guys and stuff do. So that should be a fun one. So we got lots of projects planned, lots of things. I'm not a great artist, not a super bad um, creative person, but I want to try all these things. I'm just your average Joe who wants to give them a shot. So we'll see how all these projects go. And thanks for watching and thanks for coming. My name's Dumblizo. This is another episode of Dumblizo Does. Please make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.